Yes, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Women United's annual meeting. I just want to thank you all for your time this morning and obviously dedication both to United Way and to the Women United initiative. We're very appreciative of all your time with this initiative and just being longtime members. I know some of you have been around Women United for a while and some of you are new, but welcome everyone this morning. As you probably know, at the end of the year, we celebrated our centennial milestone, and that really helped our organization launch its signature issue, which you'll see on the backgrounds of many of the staff, United to End Poverty. So we're really excited about that. I think it's really given us a baseline to have new conversations with donors and engage individuals in a new way. And also just really be very clear about what United Way stands for. And obviously, Women United has always been in alignment with that, with its efforts towards financial security for families and individuals. So as part of our strategic plan, one of the key components of that was hiring a senior executive to our senior leadership team around philanthropy. So I'm really pleased to introduce Brandon Emerson. He's new to our team at United Way, I think a month or so, maybe 6 weeks, something like that. But significant experience. He was the director of advisory services at the Orr Group, which is a leading consulting firm for nonprofits. So we're really excited to have him on with the team. And during the search process, we were just really excited about his background in strategic planning and also looking at growth within individual engagement groups. So he's definitely added a new level of engagement to our organization and really analysis of our donor data and how we shepherd donors forward in the future, which obviously Women United is a part of that. So he'll be overseeing our relationship building with individual philanthropy. And this includes our plan giving, leadership giving, and affinity groups. Women United is one of our affinity groups, as you probably know. And then Stan Gomans is our director of individual giving, and Emily Collins, who's the senior manager of affinity groups. So that's the three-person team that's leading the charge. I know that you're in good hands, but I really would just like to turn it over to Brandon just to say a few words before I pass it back to Jen.
Great. Thanks, Eric. It's a pleasure to meet you all this morning virtually. I look forward to meeting many of you in person this spring at our various events like the Member Mingle and Pop and Shop for Pop and others. Like Eric mentioned, I bring nearly a decade of experience in the philanthropy consulting world to this role. I worked at a unique institution where we didn't just do advising, we did boots on the ground work as well. So I had the pleasure of working as the interim director of development for a few organizations, worked as a plan giving officer in affinity group management and in annual giving. So I have a great breadth of experience across the spectrum of philanthropy and truly feel that United Way is in a unique position to be able to activate on all of those areas. So I'm really excited to get started. Like Eric said, I've been here about a month, so I'm diving in, but it's been quick and fun. I think what I wanted to share with all of you all is kind of my vision for philanthropy broadly speaking at United Way and how I see this group as being a part of that, a core part of that. One of my big focus areas is expanding our philanthropic footprint by building individual relationships across the 52 towns we serve. So my goal is to have leadership giving participation across all of our townships so that we truly do feel like a united 860 region. So what that's going to entail is some really active prospecting and network building and relationship development to build bridges and new inflection points so that we can create bigger impact and moving the needle more aggressively towards ending poverty in our region. I've heard so many great things about the team, about the commitment and passion from Women United, especially that community-centric spirit that you all have. And so I've had the pleasure of already speaking extensively with Jen and Judy, and look forward to working with you more on seeing what we can accomplish together and making sure that you all feel that this is a very rewarding experience and that you're excited to participate. If you do have any questions for me or you want to get to know me individually, I'd gladly welcome that opportunity. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'm sure I will be contacting all of you at some point in the coming weeks and months. But with that, I'll kick it back to you, Eric. Thanks.
Thanks, Brandon. So in addition to her role as Women United Chair, she also serves on our board of directors. And if she didn't have anything else to do, she serves on our finance committee as well. So Jen wears many hats. We really appreciate her volunteerism and dedication to United Way as an organization, but also Women United. So have a great meeting.
Thanks, Eric. And thank you, Brandon. I have to say, Eric, you mentioned Brandon is getting in and really engaged, and we have definitely seen that. Thank you, Brandon, for joining our meetings and speaking up with your ideas. As Eric and Brandon mentioned, a lot of Women United members have been around for a very long time. And so it's always helpful to get a different perspective. And so we absolutely appreciate that. And it's something that we want more of, more people to join so that we can continue to grow and really find new ways to reach our mission. So yes, I am chair of Women United. In my day job, I am a partner at Robinson and Cole, which is a law firm in Hartford. We will actually be, well, we are already here, but we are in the same building that United Way will be in shortly. So you guys, any United Way staff, you might even see more of me. Not sure if that's a good or bad thing, but you will probably see more of me. So thank you for being here. I do want to pass it over to Judy, who is just a wonderful, smart, caring, beautiful person inside and out. So I'll let her introduce herself. And I'll just say that I've learned so much from Judy, even though she's my vice chair. Really, she's a mentor to me. So Judy, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you, everyone. So my name is Judy Casperson, and I am vice chair and very excited to be serving with Jen as we did co-chairs of Power of the Purse a couple of years ago and loved working together and loved the mission of United Way. And I own Casperson Consulting. I started that a couple of years ago after a very long career in banking and investments with many of the banks that support you. And I worked on that for all those many years as well. So thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you, Judy. Yeah, there we go. So just very briefly, just want to go through our agenda. Eric already did our welcome. We will do a very quick icebreaker. We're just going to go through the leadership structure and committee introductions just to make sure we're all on the same page. Judy will go through our accomplishments, and we have updates from engagement, Power of the Purse, and from Women of Tocqueville. We'll finish with our impact in the Lead Her Award nominees and our upcoming events. So one thing that we just wanted to ask you all, and you can just put it in the chat if you're willing, what moment during your service first gave you a sense of belonging in Women United? Oh, it looks like we can also do the code, but you can also just put it in the chat, whatever works for you. And the reason that we're asking this question is because we're always trying to learn how to connect with our members. We want to make sure we're moving the mission forward, but we want to do it in a way that our members feel like they are really a part of it and making a difference. And so we like to check back in periodically to make sure that that is what we're doing. So if you have any comments about, what made you sort of really feel that sense of belonging with Women United, please let us know so that we can continue to foster those events and programs that really, make Women United what it is. However, the purse number, attending and commitment to success of women. I absolutely agree. It's wonderful to see you in a room with so many women and allies and others who want to support the community and really help women get that financial stability. Okay. We can go back to the, So my very first volunteer activity that I participated in with Women United, got to see firsthand our impact and got to know a wonderful group of women. That's amazing. I absolutely agree with that. I think we all come to Women United with that sense of wanting to volunteer and give back. And Women United, I think, is very unique in the sense that we do events, we do volunteer, and we also do networking. So we do a lot of things within the organization that help with the mission, but also help our own individual members. A preview of POP speaker at the POP pre-event hosted by my company. Yeah, I wasn't there, but I can imagine that that is a really exciting way to jump into POP. Member mingle. Yes, I'm glad to hear that the member mingle, because I think we're really trying to improve and really make sure that we foster those connections between each other so that we can make our group even stronger. Yeah, the number of people that attend POP is pretty incredible. Pretty nerve-wracking when you were up on the stage, but luckily Judy and I now have done it for a few years. So, okay, great. Thank you all for your feedback. I really appreciated it. Really appreciate it, and I think it will help us continue to focus on those events that really make us who we are. Yeah, the networking opportunities. Yeah, I think Women United truly is a unique organization in that sense that we get to do so many things, ultimately for the mission of serving our community. Okay, great. So I did want to take just a moment to share with you a story from a United Way advocate and board member, Maria Nunez, just about how the work of United Way and Women United continues to empower the women in our communities.
Together, we are united to end poverty. Being a single mother is something that has to be done. So it's not a choice. You don't have a choice. So you're in it, so, and all you have to do, you never look back. You're always moving forward with it. So there isn't a I can't do this. It's how I'm gonna do this. So you want them to have a normal life. You don't want them to worry about, mommy, how are you paying the bills? Participating in the VITA program, I started simply just going in, and I got my taxes done, and it was such a quick process. There was no hassle, just bring this in. They would tell me exactly what I needed to do, and I would get them done. And I was there. I was in New Britain for 6 years, and 6 years I got my taxes done in New Britain at the VITA program for absolutely nothing. Just a nice time. Everyone was super nice also. I could count, like I could plan ahead. I knew I had 2 kids, so I was getting something back, you know? And I would plan, I'd say, okay, this next February, we can either do something nice for the family because we wouldn't go on vacation during the year, or we can pay Gali soccer, you know, whatever Fabiana wanted at the moment. So it helped in so many different ways. It gave us a light. So it gave us a light at the end of the tunnel. It wasn't all bad or all tight all year long. We had a little breather. We could come up and catch some air for a few seconds. The resources that I would come upon, specifically VITA, I saw how it was the benefits that it would bring to my family. At that moment, every time I would go in, first year, second year, I'm like, at one point I thought to myself, I can do this, right? So sitting at one of my accounting classes at Tunxis, one of the professors mentioned it. Oh, we're looking for volunteers. Is anyone interested? I said, and it hit me. I was like, oh, I can do this. So I signed up. You have to take a course, a little 2-3 day course. And I loved it. I loved it because now I understood what they were doing for me. So after being a VITA volunteer and being able to share my story was heard across the board And I was contacted by other advocacies, asking me to share my story. So at that point, I got invited to a press conference. I got invited to the convention center, the Power of the Purse. I got to meet Rita Moreno there. It was a wonderful experience. And it made me feel like I'm doing something to give back. My opportunity to advocate for policy change, advocate for the families that really need it, advocate for families that are, struggling and living in poverty. It's my way of giving back to the program, to the people, to my community. It's time for us to pay it forward.
That is a wonderful video, and I think a wonderful summation of just what it is to be a part of something that you're giving back to. Obviously, for Maria, she sort of came full circle, right? Something that a benefit that she used to receive, now she's helping others to receive. And I don't know if you all saw her at Power of the Purse, but it was by far my favorite speech or speaking points of that day. So really shows the direct impact that we're making. So thank you to all of you. I think we can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is just a brief recap of our governing principles and our leadership structure. And just to go back to why we're all here is our mission. And our mission for Women United is engaged in giving, advocating, and volunteering to strengthen the lives and the financial security of women and families to create a stronger and more vibrant community. And so you'll see here that our members are dedicated to this mission. If you could just go back to the last slide really quick. I just want to go through those different levels. So for the Women United membership, we do have people who can just come to our events, but we'd really love, members who are dedicated and really engaged. As you can see, the more time that we can spend together and come up with new ideas, we can really help make a huge impact to the community. And so our advocate level is a $250 commitment for the year. The philanthropist is $500 and leadership is $1,000. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So just a reminder that these are your annual contributions. And so purchasing tickets or auction items do not count towards these different levels. It is the direct contribution. And here you'll see just our general governing structure. So we have chair, vice chair, executive committee. Again, that leadership council, these are for individuals who have given at that $1,000 level. And the Leadership Council is really there to help strategize for Women United to make sure that we are moving forward and reaching our goals, and that we are improving. If an event didn't reach where we wanted it to, that we're making those changes and improvements so that we can reach our ultimate goals. And underneath that, we have our very important committees that do so much work and really propel us forward. So that's the engagement committee. And then volunteer sort of under the engagement committee now. We pulled it out at the beginning when we really started focusing more on our volunteer efforts and trying to build out different events. And then we also have our signature events committees. Okay, so now I'll pass it over to Judy, and she can go through our accomplishments. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you so much, Jen. I'm happy to be here with all of you today and to thank you for your support of Women United. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without the work of our devoted committees chairs. When talking about our accomplishments, I want to highlight that these directions have been made in response to member feedback. We have streamlined our events calendar to increase our efficiency for event planning. Red, White, and Celebrate has taken the place of Red, White, and Chocolate and moved to the fall to serve as a pre-event to POP. We've created more opportunities for networking and becoming invested in the mission of United Way. We've created working groups to support member engagement and expand Women United opportunities to those interested in specific topics. Women United has raised over $111,000 in membership dues in 2024, not including our special events or third-party processor donations. As of now, Women United has 169 members, and we're continuing to grow our membership by expanding our reach. And I would like to introduce the chairs of our engagement committee. We have Julie Phelan and Isabella Danielson as co-chairs for the engagement committee. Both Julie and Bella work to ensure that Women United is an engaging and inviting space for all of our members and support new members. Their experience with United Way, Julie has been a passionate supporter of United Way for many years, and her involvement in Women United stems from a passion of supporting women who need support and resources to gain financial stability. Bella has been dedicated to making an impact in our community and encouraging others to become the best that they can be. She is passionate about supporting communities to overcome socioeconomic challenges and achieve their financial goals. We're so grateful to have you both as leaders in Women United, and they're a lot of fun to work with. I will now pass it over to Julie to discuss updates for the engagement committee.
Thank you, Judy, and good morning. It's so nice to see you all, and I'm happy to highlight some of the work that Bella and I have been working on with our engagement committee this past year. Starting off with member mingles, we are going to continue to hold member mingles based on the initial success of the two held last year. Thank you to Judy and Bella for welcoming us into your homes. Member mingles provide a casual gathering where you can connect and network with Women United members, all with the goal of deepening engagement with Women United's mission. At these events, you can discuss ways to become more involved, learn about Women United, and create deeper connections with other members and our mission. Lead Hers. Lead Hers was spearheaded by our very own Melissa O'Hara. She has artfully created a program working with other members to create opportunities that provide professional development for women while celebrating women leaders in our community who make an impact every day. This team continues to cultivate virtual programs to empower and serve Women United members who are united to end poverty by supporting financial literacy. Thank you, Melissa, and the entire team for your continued work in this space. It's greatly appreciated. We also have volunteer opportunities that we're working to coordinate for our members to help you connect to our mission, and we encourage you to reach out if you would like to get more involved. Now let's jump into some of the upcoming events that we have quickly coming up during the month of May. On May 15th, we'll hold our next member mingle that I just mentioned to you a few minutes ago. The next one will be at the home of one of our very involved members, Jan Turner. This is a great opportunity for you to get to know other members and learn how you can become more involved, inquire about leadership roles, or serving as a committee member. We also encourage you to bring a guest who may be interested in learning more about our programs and how they can get involved. Thank you, Jan, for hosting us, and be on the lookout for a formal invitation with details coming soon from United Way. On May 22nd, Lead Hers will be hosting a financial literacy program hosted by a panel of 3 remarkable financial professional women to discuss financial planning as women in the workforce. This will be a virtual program free to all Women United members. An invitation will also be coming shortly from United Way on this. I hope you are able to participate in one of these exciting events. And without further ado, I'm happy to introduce and welcome Julia Brinson to share more with you about our signature event updates.
Thank you, Julie. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for the introduction. My name is Julia Brinson, and I will be joining Tara as the POP chairs for 2025. I've been a member of Women United for many years, and I've served as a chair for 2 years. I am proud to be a committed volunteer and will make it my goal to witness families thrive and uplift communities. Tara and I became involved with Women United through Power of the Purse and was immediately drawn to the supporting work of the fundraising, spreading awareness for the cause that she and I are passionate about. And I want to thank you both for the commitment to making Women United and events a continued success. I will now talk about some of our exciting upcoming events we have for this year. I first want to highlight our next event, April 8th, which is Shop for Pop. This event will bring members together that are excited for POP and celebrate the work of our table captains. This is a great opportunity to network with like-minded philanthropists who are committed as table captains for 2025's Power of the Purse. This event will be lots of fun. There will be hors d'oeuvres, drinks. There will be exclusive shopping opportunities. It will be held at Stackpole in downtown Hartford. You can register on United Way's website. I'm also excited to announce that Power of the Purse will be returning on June 12th, 2025 at the Connecticut's Convention Center. This year's keynote speakers are Andrea Elliott and Dasani Coates. Andrea is a Pulitzer Prize journalist who has documented the lives of the poor Americans and authors of Invisible Child. Invisible Child follows 8 years in the life of Dasani Coates, who is also being joined us to talk about her experiences. Early bird pricing for POP expires April 1st. We are close to being at 50% capacity, so do not wait to secure your spot if you have not yet already. We need your help in securing sponsors, table captains, and silent auction donations. Please see Ellie Lambert on the United Way or the United Way team to learn more. We're excited to announce new VIP experiences are available. These experiences include access to VIP book signing taking place immediately following the event. We hope to see you at POP. Please reach out if you have questions or like to find out more to get involved. I would like to also announce that we
I might be taking it
sorry?
from here, Julia.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm super excited about this because I think these two are fabulous people. And I have the honor of announcing the chairs for 2026. So nominations were put forward for our POP co-chairs, and Wendy Marishuk and Carla Nunziante are taking the lead in 2026. I've had the opportunity to work alongside of both of these individuals, and I can't say enough great things. These are two doers. If you need something done, they will get it done. So the event will be in great hands. Thank you both for your commitment to making POP a success in the years that you've been involved, and we know that you'll do it a great honor in 2026 with all the work that you put forward. And so then next on the list, I think, is just to talk about our table chairs, our table captains, I should say. On the next slide, we have a list of all of the individuals that have committed so far to be table captains. I think some might be new and some are returning. We have a lot of dedicated folks that have been table chairs and the table captains in the past and have agreed to do so again this year. So thank you so much to all of you for, agreeing to work hard to help fill the room at POP and continue to spread that mission of what the event and Women United is all about. We're just really, grateful for these individuals for stepping up to the plate, and there's certainly room for more. So if you haven't signed up yet, or you know someone who'd like to, make sure you spread the word. And I'm going to pass it over to Susan Dunn now. She's the co-chair of Women of Tocqueville, and she's going to give you an update on that program.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you, Julie, and thank you for your leadership with Power of the Purse. I have my table, so I've got to now recruit people to sit at my table, which usually is no problem at all. I'm so happy and honored to join you this morning to provide an update on Women of Tocqueville, and thank you for the time to do this. I'm Susan Dunn, as you heard. I'm the current co-chair of Women of Tocqueville, along with my sidekick, Paula Gilberto, who was unable to join us for today's meeting. Really, I think Paula would agree with me that we are so proud to see Women of United grow from an idea to a movement, which engages more than about what, 1,000 women at Power of the Purse, maybe more from time to time, year to year. It just still gives me goosebumps that's what started. And I want to give a shout out from the very beginning, because I obviously was there more than 10 years ago when this was an idea and we started it, to Francine Christensen, who's on our call today, because she was there from the beginning. She was one of those who've stuck with us, stayed with us, given us great guidance and advice over the last decade. So thank you. Thank you, Francine. When Eric came on board and he asked Paula and I to co-chair Women of Tocqueville, we really saw this as sort of 2.0 of Women United. The next step for women to get involved. And we knew that this was possible. And obviously, as many of you know, Tocqueville level is $10,000 or more of giving. And Paul and I are so grateful that we're able to stay at that level. And again, you've heard me say appreciated securities. So that's one way, if you're thinking about it, to be able to stay at this level. And again, we're thankful that we've been able to do that in our Life After United Way. And I think part of it is, while Women United has been so successful, and Women of Tocqueville, is that the mission really resonates with those women that are part of our community who really are centered around the insurance industry, the finance industry, and law. And I think they really understand how important financial stability is for women in our community. So I think really the mission has always resonated. So glad to see that this has been the key support going forward. So Women of Tocqueville, again, 2.0 really is going deeper and being more connected to the issues in our community. We do that in ways through our increased giving, our advocacy, and programming. And our programming has included a town hall series. We had our first one this fall, and no surprise, it was about Alice, because Alice is really the keystone way that we use to talk about women and financial stability, and families and financial stability. And there we had Stephanie Hoops, who is from the United Way in Northern New Jersey. And I like to call her the mother of Alice, because she was there at the beginning with that United Way, doing the research and bringing Alice forward as a way that is just so resonates to talk about what's going on in our community, and to break so many stereotypes, which I think is one of the top benefits to Alice and learning about Alice. Coming up this spring, we'll be hosting a second town hall. We've decided that to focus on 50 years of closing gaps and creating opportunities with the federal earned income tax credit, the VITA program. Maura was probably, and Sam's going to die, but I like to call this how a Republican started earned income tax credit, because we maybe think of this as a more progressive and liberal program. It actually was started by Richard Nixon back in the 70s as a program to help working families, and has been incredibly successful. And certainly United Way has taken advantage every year with an amazing program, the VITA program, which you heard about from the woman who spoke earlier about how she has benefited from all of your work with United Way. So we hope to see you on Friday, March 21st at 8 a.m. For this informative program, and registration will be included at the end of our meeting. And lastly, what Women of Tocqueville's been working on are our governance documents to continue the work of Women of Tocqueville going forward this past year. And we're also working to identify future potential chairs for this group, and see how the next generation of leaders will really move this forward. So, Paul and I have enjoyed doing this for the last 2+ years, but, there always comes a time when you need to move on. And I've always said that transition is very healthy for a nonprofit. So I'm sure we will still be very committed, but we do need to pass the torch for leadership in this program. So now I'm going to pass the torch to Maura, who will take us an overview of the updated Alice report, which I'm very anxious to hear about. Thank you, Maura.
Thank you, Susan. Great to see everyone on the call. Thank you all for joining us this morning, and thank you for your continued work and support of United Way. So we wanted to take a few minutes this morning to just talk about what the data is telling us about the need in our community, and really bring that back to the work that all of you are doing, right? We know that Women United and Women of Tocqueville bring so much to our community. They offer great networking. They offer amazing professional and personal development opportunities. But at the core of what this is all about is the mission to help more families achieve financial security. And so you all are critical to the work that we do to make this possible. And so we wanted to spend a few minutes this morning talking a little bit about what is the data telling us about the need. Why do the funds that we raise through these incredible programs matter? And what more can we do as we move forward into this new century for United Way? So you might remember that we release our ALICE report about every 2 years. We did get a little bit off cycle due to the pandemic, and we've started to, on the off year now, also release updates to the data to try. Things have been changing so rapidly in our region and all across the country. We have seen huge changes in terms of cost of living. The nature of work has changed dramatically in the year since the pandemic. And so we continue to release full ALICE reports and updates to really keep our community, our legislators, our donors, our stakeholders informed about what we're seeing around financial hardship in Connecticut. And this practice was started by Connecticut United Ways back in 2013. So we've been doing this now for more than 10 years. And this has really given us our first look at what does it mean to struggle in Connecticut? What does it mean to make ends meet in Connecticut? So from our most recent report, there were a few key trends that I want to call your attention to that are really relevant to the work that Women United is doing. So the first is that 38% of households are currently living below the ALICE threshold. And what the ALICE report does is it takes a look year over year at different data sources and establishes a threshold of what do families need to cover the basics, and then how many families are living below that. So this includes both people who are living above the poverty level, the federal poverty level, but below the basic cost of living as determined by the ALICE report, and also those who are living in what we would call extreme poverty. So they're living below the federal poverty level, even harder, right? To be able to cover costs, right? Meet your basic needs. And you can see here on this slide that this is based on data that's about 2 years old, because we have to look at it, right, progressively and compare apples to apples year over year. But based on that 2022 data, the threshold was set at $114,000 a year, or $57 an hour for a family of 4. And we think about that as 2 adults and 2 children, right? So, and we think of it as young children. So children under 5, that's the most expensive time in a child's life before they go to college. And so when we look at the family, that's really what we're looking at here. So in Connecticut, it costs $114,000 a year for a family of 4 just to cover the basics. And what this tells us is 38% of families are living below that threshold. We continue to see this number grow, and we will be releasing more data this fall, which we'll share with you about some of those trends that we're seeing around increased financial hardship. And the biggest driver of this, while there are many, is that there is a mismatch between wages and the cost of basic essentials. And I think that's something we can all relate to, right? We've all seen our costs go up, but for families who are already walking a financial tightrope, these increases in costs can be really, really challenging for them. And being an ALICE household means that you are asset limited and on that brink of financial crisis. So you can go ahead to the next slide. So this just gives you a few other household breakdowns in terms of that survival budget that I mentioned. So you have the federal poverty level over here on the left and the Connecticut ALICE threshold on the right. And since we've started doing ALICE, this is a key point. that we must emphasize is that the federal poverty level, it's set nationally, it's not updated very often. And so it really has become, while it is the measure that most of our programs, right, our federal and state programs use to determine if someone is living in poverty or struggling, it really isn't an adequate measure for families in Connecticut. And when you look at the gaps here for that family of four that we were discussing, they're determined to be living in poverty if they're earning $31,000 a year. But what we're saying is in Connecticut, it takes $114,000 just to cover the basics. So that's a huge gap and a huge number of families who are living in the in-between and who are not eligible, right, for many benefits and programs to help them make their income go farther. Next slide, please. So I mentioned that the ALICE report is always based on data from 2 years prior, but what our partners at United Way of Northern New Jersey have done to address the many questions that we get around inflation is they've created an ALICE Essentials Index, and they do some calculations on inflation rates, the current data that we're looking at, and they project out what the real cost of the basics is right now, in 2024, 2025. So you can see here that from that survival budget that I gave you, that 114,000, what we're projecting is that to today, we've seen a 13% increase in costs. And so really it's more like $128,000, right? That families need to cover those basics. So the challenges for families in Connecticut continue when we look at our cost of living and also, available jobs, ability to increase income and wages. And these are core issues that our United Way will be focusing on and need Women United support and partnership to continue to close the wage gaps here. You can go to the next slide, please. So just talking a little bit about that impact. So for those of you who have been with us for many years, Women United has always been a real trailblazer in terms of leading the way to new programs and initiatives that can help families achieve financial security. When I started with United Way, Women United was focused on feasibility studies around what are now financial opportunity centers. So starting programs that would provide families an integrated approach where they could receive career counseling, they could receive financial education, and match savings opportunities. And that's really what Power of the Purse allowed us to do, was to help give people an extra lift if they're saving, if they're working to increase their income, they're applying for benefits. Enrolling in match savings is a way that they could reach those financial goals faster. So we've seen women purchase larger or more safe vehicles for their families. We've seen people be able to put down security deposits on more stable, safer housing. We've seen people go back to school and start their own business as a result of the funds that Women United raises every year. And so that's been hugely critical when we work to address the number of families who are struggling to make ends meet in our state. As we move forward, we've just completed our design sessions. We will begin convening work groups of partners to continue to accelerate this work. And we're taking a look at some of those things that are spiked out the most in the ALICE report. So things like the cost of childcare and the lack of access to affordable childcare for people while they work. A huge issue that has come up around young adult employment is around the transportation challenges in our state. So taking a look at how can people get to work when they're working second and third shift, looking at some transportation programs that have been really effective and trying to expand those here locally. And of course, continuing the things that we've seen work, right? Like those integrated community hub approaches to financial education services, financial stability services, trying to expand options for people to be able to go to one place and get all or many of their needs met, right? Because when you talk to people who are struggling to make ends meet and they're spending their whole day going around from place to place, trying to get food, trying to get formula, right? Trying to get utility assistance, that becomes a full-time job. So trying to make access to those resources much easier. And so those are some of the things that you'll start to hear and see from us. And so the work that you're doing through your membership, through the dollars that you donate through Power of the Purse, all go to support that work. And I think you can see from the Alice data that that's more important now, maybe than it has ever been. We continue to see real challenges post-pandemic, and it feels so long ago. I think today is maybe the anniversary of when it arrived in Connecticut, but the ripple of the economic impact has really affected families, individuals, and nonprofits. And so this work that we're doing to try to maximize our nonprofit community here and increase the resources for families is very important. And you all are an absolutely critical part of that moving forward. Slide. All right. So I will turn it back to talk about our United Way Lead Her Award nominees.
Thank you, Maura. And really thank you, everyone. I mean, you can see that there's still so much progress that we need to make. And so it's critical that we really continue to work together to give back the best that we can. And so really appreciate all the work that everyone has done. It does lead us into our Lead Her Award nominees. So the Lead Her Award nominee is really, you know, all of you give 100%, and we so appreciate that. We did ask for nominations, and we got outstanding responses. These women really go above and beyond. They serve in leadership roles in their community within the Women United organization. And so just want to read them out. If you know them, please congratulate them. So it is Irene Bassick, Mary Ann Cruz, Vicki Pace, Sandy Perillo Simmons, and Jan Turner. You've probably seen all of their faces around a lot of events and within the organization. So we will be announcing the Lead Her Award at Power of the Purse. So please look out for that. I think the last is really, again, just the upcoming events, just a reminder of Women of Tocqueville's Town Hall. I believe Susan said that there'll be a registration link in the chat if someone wants to throw that in there. And then Shop for Pop is coming up. We have that member mingle and the Lead Hers both in May, and of course, Power of the Purse in June. So again, thank you all. We would not be able to do everything that we do without all of you, and we so appreciate all the love and support that you've given to this group. And we will continue to make big strides and make a difference in our community if we continue to work together. So thank you all. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll give you 8 minutes back of your day. Enjoy some breakfast, maybe. Sam put in that registration link, so please click on that before you head out of the meeting and register, and hopefully we'll see you there.